and we are letting everybody in. It's going to be an amazing event. We have awesome information to share with everybody. Let's see who is on the Zoom. Okay, Michelle is here. Okay, let's give it one more minute. And if you all want, feel free to attach your contact information on chat. That way we can start referring, getting to know you better. So just leave your name, what is the country or city that you work at, your contact information and everything on the chat.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to put my camera off, but I just want to say hello to everyone.
Hi, Adriana. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So I'm driving, so I'm going to be very quiet.
Me as well. Good morning, everyone. Shalonda with Town and Country Escrow. I am going to do the same.
Hi, Shalonda. It's nice to see you here.
Same
Make sure
here.
you put your contact info.
Yes.
I saw online.
Shalonda is also a member of Global Committee. Okay, it is 10:03, so let's just go ahead and get started. And the only reason is because we have abundance of information and we're all here to hear from our speakers. So with that said, I want to welcome all of you here. Really appreciate you taking your time, especially during this busy season in real estate. So hope to provide as much as information that you guys are all seeking. And to start off, I am going to let everybody know of TIGAR's global mission statement, which is the Global Culture Committee of the Inland Gateway Association of Realtors' purpose is to provide its members with global market updates on the inbound and outbound transactions through education and networking, as well as building partnership with globally minded real estate agents in the local market. And now what I'm gonna do is, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Oswald. I am TIGAR's Global Committee Chair for 2021. This is our very first year in action. Super excited of all the events that we have put thus far with the assistance of all our global committee members. You guys are amazing. So make sure to put on the chat whether you are a committee member, your contact information, so people know how to reach back with you guys. All right. With that said, let's just go ahead and start. I am going to turn over the event over to our committee member, Ann Dowling. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Ann Downing. I'm with Century 21 Now Realty here in Corona, California. And today we're going to start off with talking about Belize. I recently joined this committee and I'm excited to be part of it. So why don't we just jump right on in to show you the entry video. Okay, Janessa? Janessa, would you like to put that on? And then I'll give an introduction to Allie.
That was great, and thank you so much for the video. But I would want to remind everybody that if you have any questions during any of the presentation, please feel free to write it down on the chat or even write it down on Facebook. We are going to go over all the questions at the end of the event, and take it away. Give it back to you, Ann.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So today our presenter for Belize is Ali Rodriguez. She's the Director of International Referral Network. Ali began her professional career as an elementary school teacher in Texas, where she helped grow and shape young minds for over 10 years. Her tenure included many awards and recognitions for the dedication and support she provided to her students from many diverse and challenged backgrounds. In November 2017, she moved with her husband to San Pedro. I don't know how to say this. I think it's Ambergris Cay, excuse me, after a brief trip to the island only a few months before. Her love of the warm Caribbean waters, friendly people, and rich culture immediately made her feel at home. So Ms. Rodriguez, her knowledge of the community and market grew. She found herself as a marketing manager for various businesses on the island, where she discovered her desire to deliver information to tourists and locals alike, eventually connecting her with ECI Development. In May 2019, the adventurous soul held by both her and her husband could not be contained and led them to become permanent residents of Belize. She officially joined the ECI team in August 2019 as the International Real Estate Referral Program Liaison, and has since grown and evolved into the Director of the International Referral Network with the ECI Development. Through this role, she supports and empowers agents across the US, Canada, and other countries around the world on ways to engage and brand themselves in the global market. Through presentations, marketing tools, and relevant information, the program has grown and is thriving. Ali, I'd like to introduce you now. Everybody give Ali a round of applause.
Woohoo!
Yes, thank you. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen here and let me know when that looks right. How is that showing on y'all's screen? Is it showing correctly? Because I feel
It
like...
looks good, Ali. I can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's showing the
perfect.
PowerPoint, just not in slide view. There you go.
There we go. Okay, so thank you, Ann and Sarah and the whole TIGAR team that has us on the line today. Like previously mentioned, I'm originally from Texas, but am now a permanent resident of Belize, and have just enjoyed thoroughly my time, not only here in Belize, but getting to learn about the countries that we represent across the region. So just a note there, Rachel Jensen, she is my colleague and VP of Sales. She'll be talking to you a little bit later about Nicaragua. So I'm going to just move along here to the next slide. And like I mentioned, we have properties across the region. We're a company that has been in business here for over 25 years. And we can definitely help you in these other areas, but today we are focusing on Belize. So just something about Belize that a lot of people may not realize is just how diverse it truly is. And in that video that you showed us, there was a lot of different kinds of things that were represented in that video, and we'll talk about a few of those in this presentation today. So as we're getting started here, just take a few seconds and in the chat section, or if you're on Facebook, go ahead and type into that section, either Q&A or comments. Have you had a chance to visit Belize? Maybe for business or for fun, but yes, A, yes, or B, not yet. Because I have a feeling that eventually you'll all want to take a trip. So let's discover Belize. A few things we're going to talk about today are there on your screen. Why Belize? We're going to talk about the different misconceptions in real estate that people may have regarding Belize and being in a third world country, and just exploring the hottest spot within Belize right now. Do know that this presentation is usually about 45 minutes to an hour long. We've condensed it for this group today, but if you would like to be in on that full presentation, we're happy to send that to you. Just request that at tigar@ecidevelopment.com. So some quick facts about Belize. Total population is just right over 400,000 people. And in a country that's the size of about Massachusetts, We actually have, a good representation. It's a lot smaller than what people think and is one of the smaller countries in the region. We are a representative democratic government, meaning we have elections and things like that. But one of the most important things on this side specifically is the currency. When you travel to these other countries, it can be difficult in knowing what the exchange is. And it's quite easy in Belize for somebody that's not as good as math as I probably should be. Being able to do 2 Belize to 1 US dollar is quite simple, and it makes the conversations that you're having quite easy to interpret. So why Belize? This proximity to North America. And again, in the video, you had a great map there and that showed where Belize is. So just to put it in reference, if you're familiar with Mexico and where Cancun is located, we are about 225 miles south here on Ambergris Caye. So that makes the ability to get to Belize fairly easy, quick. There's lots of flights that are coming in and out of the country from these major international hubs throughout North America. So you can see there a good map. And this was pre-COVID, so just know that those airlifts are picking up. In fact, we heard another one today that Frontier Airlines is picking up their airlift. So, but this is just a good representation of all the different ways that you can get to Belize in a quick amount of time. And for somebody that's looking at a country that, let's say they may be planning on either living there part of the time, or maybe they're investing in a property there, this is really important because if you're leaving family back home, or you want to be able to get to your property on short notice if there is an issue that arises, it makes it a really attractive thing for this country because there is availability to get here quickly. And then there are regional air carriers. So something to note is that the hub for our business is here in Belize. We are on an island called Ambergris Caye, which you were really close, Anne, in that pronunciation. So Caye is like the car key, but it's just spelled differently. So C-A-Y-E is Caye. But we do have ways to get easily from the island to the mainland of Belize. One of those ways is we do have puddle jumpers that take our tourists, our travelers, and our owners from the mainland where the international airport is located over to the island of Ambergris Caye, and to the other close island is called Caye Caulker. So we do have these regional air carriers. We also have a water taxi that's available. It's about a 90-minute boat ride from the mainland, but I do highly recommend that you experience it at least once. It takes you from the coast of Belize into these azure waters that you're used to seeing on postcards and things like that. So tip number one, I always like to throw these in there because people have questions about, so they hear about the bugs, they hear about these, different nuances that come with each country. So tip number one, I like to put out there is use coconut oil around your ankles. It's obviously organic coconut oil that you can put on your ankles. And then there are these tiny bugs that we call no-see-ums. They're small, light in color, but you can feel them. So if you use this coconut oil around your ankles, it makes them difficult to land on your skin, basically. So tip number one, use coconut oil, and it makes you smell good. So there's bonuses all around. All right, so number two, why Belize? So we've heard about its proximity to North America, but being pegged to the US dollar, that's important. But this really, number two is probably my favorite. After taking 5 years of Spanish classes in high school, you think you know it all, and you think you're going to be able to step into a foreign country and speak another language. And it just wasn't the case for me. So one of the things that I love about Belize, and something that our clients and your clients would love about, is that we do have common law here. So it's a very familiar system, but your paperwork, all of your contracts, any kind of immigration paperwork that you have to do, customs paperwork, all of that is in English. It is the official language of the country. So there is a lot less misunderstanding when it comes to these legal documents, even just conversations and buying, groceries from the local vendors and fruterias here. They are able to speak to in English, and it just makes it a really comfortable feeling to be able to land in another country and be able to communicate with the people around you. This one I'm not going to go too deep into, but I do know it's something that people really look at when they are considering a different country. I'm going to go through these bullet points quite quickly, but know again that we do go into this presentation a little bit deeper. And if you want any more information on what those look like, I'm happy to talk with you about those. But there are no capital gains or estate taxes here in Belize. Something we'll talk about here in a bit is that the higher upfront cost, but much lower ongoing costs to you, but also these no capital gains and taxes really do make it an attractive option for people. There is a 1.75% fee on investment income. So within the country, that is a payment that you make to the country of Belize. And then something to note here, this last one, which I really want to highlight, is that a lot of times when you talk about offshore banking, it gets kind of a bad feeling or a bad connotation to offshore banking. And something about the bank that we work with specifically, which is on the next slide, and I'll give you the information to look into that, is that they require a 24% liquidity. So for every dollar that they loan out, they are required to have, a quarter of that in-house that is available and on hand. So that does make it a little more comforting feeling to know that these banks aren't loaning out more than they can back. So here's that second slide here that I talked about. You're welcome to do your own due diligence. This is a bank that we've worked with. Full transparency, it is a part of our portfolio. This is how we began here in Belize. It was a mortgage company originally that has grown into this financial center and able to do lots of different services. But go ahead and do your own due diligence there. Key Bank, CAYE Bank. And you'll be able to find that quite quickly if you choose to go do some more diligence there. All right, so number 4 here, why Belize? Attractive residency programs. When I first moved here, I didn't know what I was going to do. My husband and I came without any real end goal. We both worked in the States. He actually owned a landscape architecture firm. We knew that, we couldn't hold down beach chairs for the rest of our lives. I originally thought I was going to come here and teach. And essentially that's what I'm doing now. As this referral program director, I'm able to teach real estate agents, real estate professionals like yourselves on how to brand themselves, how to become that educational point for their clients to help them in this international market. And I'll expand on that here in just a bit. But these residency programs, I've actually been through the permanent residency process. I am somebody that can speak to that process firsthand. But there are some different options there. It's not just having to do the time and country that's there as under the permanent residency bullets. We do have a qualified retired persons program, or the QRP program. These are for people that are truly looking to come and be retired. You do have to be 45 years or older. You have to spend at least 30 days a year in the country, but again, you cannot work. That means you can't work remotely. You can't hold a business here or anything like that. You truly have to be retired and become a beach bum. I know it's terrible, but that's the residency program. And then another option for people that just recently came into effect is this investor residency. So this is for people that are truly looking to invest in the company and in return get that residency that can lead to citizenship after 5 years. There is an investor minimum of $250,000, which pairs up quite nicely with our Marriott property. But again, that's something that we can look into deeper with your clients specifically and which scenario makes the best sense for them. All right, number 5. So as we've been talking about, the air flights have been increasing again. There has been a great return of tourists here on the island. The hustle and bustle is coming back. We're getting to see old friends and make new friends here on the island. But this growing economy, this idea behind it, Belize is a third world country, and while it's not as well developed as a place like Panama, it's getting to that point. It's bringing in these chains, it's bringing in these financial centers. And you can see there on the bottom right-hand side, that's our international airport. So having a need for this international hub or these international flights, not only around the region, but to other places in the world, has just really helped bring people to Belize. And once you're here and once you learn the people and you learn the country, we see a lot of return visitors. And you can see here, this chart was before pre-COVID 2019, but we expect the trend to continue in this direction. And like I said, we're starting to see it come back already. It's really exciting, and we're able to continue to serve these people that are coming. And by doing that, we'll talk about that here in just a minute specifically, but we're seeing these big name chains coming in, hotel chains, but just, oh, I hear somebody in the background. Maybe it was just background noise on my end. But we are able to be able to serve these tourists and make them at home when they're here. So why Belize? Number 6 here, Mother Nature's splendor. Something about Belize in your video, and you showed that there's, the water sports, there are the diving, the snorkeling and things like that, but we actually have some incredible wildlife here on the island. Bottom right hand side, bonus points if you know what animal that is. You can type it into the chat there. But we actually have a jaguar reserve on the mainland. It's the only one in the world, and it's just quite fun. It's just a quite incredible opportunity to come to a country and be able to experience all of these different things. Corizal, Cayo, Placencia, those are all on the mainland. Those are different places that have all different kinds of environments. So Corizal is going to be a sleepier town, much more slower paced. There's quite a large expat community there. They do have beaches there. It is beautiful. It's just not what you would consider the tourist mecca. There's not a whole lot of activity there. The nightlife is a little bit slower, a little more sleepy than what you would consider here on the island of Ambergris Caye. There are some other opportunities there. The Cayo district is known for its jungles. There in my background here, there is a picture of a cave. I don't know if you can see the people behind me. I think I have a slide in here about that, but there's cave tubing, zip lining through the jungles. You can actually stay in tree houses in the jungle overnight. So it's quite fun to be able to, take that quick flight over to the mainland for a day or two, spend it there exploring the ruins, the jungles, and then come back to the island if you prefer a nightlife kind of atmosphere. So again, just some things I mentioned there, the cave tubing, we do have a zoo here, the Mayan temples, diving and snorkeling, fishing. We have huge fishing tournaments. One just happened last week, which was a lot of fun. It was good to see that coming back now post-COVID. But yeah, so, and you'll have an unbelievable time. I mean, we joke about it and it's really corny and cheesy, but it's a fun way to let people know that if you come, you are going to make memories. And that's why we see people come back year after year to experience all the wonders that Belize has to offer. And just a last point here about why Belize, we do have affordable Caribbean real estate, low property taxes. Like I mentioned, you have this investment curve actually really spells it out for you really well. Like I mentioned, places like Panama, Pacific, Costa Rica that are very mature in the market. They have the client base, they have the infrastructure in place. They have all of these things that are already in place for that country, meaning if you want to go and invest there, it's going to cost you a little more than what it would say in Belize or Argentina or even Caribbean Costa Rica, because they're just not at that same level of interest yet. But as we see the interest increasing to Belize and people are starting to know about Belize and learn about Belize, we like to truly say it is the sweet spot of this investment curve. So there is interest here. There are already chains coming online. There are brand names that are coming into the country. They recognize the need to have, places that people are comfortable with going. Not everybody loves to go visit an Airbnb or a hostel. Maybe they want that chain. Maybe they want that Best Western brand, that Marriott brand, because they know exactly what they're going to get when they get there. So you have the ability to invest into a market that has this incredible chance for appreciation. And so, you may not be experiencing the same cash flow as you would in Panama right off the bat, but as you continue this trend toward increased tourism, then you will see that appreciation in the years to come. So if you compare, for example, the Bahamas to Belize, a A 1-bedroom, 523 square foot condo there costs about $600,000. And again, this is the Bahamas. So this is an established place. They have that interest already. They've been doing it now for years, and they have those return clients, those new clients, because of just the word of mouth. Everybody's been there. They love it. They know it. But if you could, would you invest now in a similar studio apartment, beachfront, and be able to save about $200,000 now, and then see that return as we go through that investment curve and as that appreciation becomes more apparent? So tip number 2, ditch the LaCroix. And this is actually something that Rachel experienced. I actually experienced it more with Doritos and Oreos. But if you are expecting to come here and live that lifestyle with a lower price point, you're living within your means, or you are looking to decrease your spending every month, just know that we do have access to imported goods like LaCroix seltzers, Doritos, Oreos. But you're going to pay for it. And that's true with anything that you bring into a country. You have to pay those import duties. A bag of Doritos here is about $7 US. So I learned that that's kind of my splurge every once in a while. Otherwise, I eat the local brands. I drink the local drinks, whether it's, I don't know what the knockoff of LaCroix is here, but we do have seltzers. They're just not LaCroix seltzers. So you learn what you want to spend and where you want to save. So I'm going to just go through these really quickly. I could talk about this for hours with you guys. It's my home. So just some things real quick. Real estate agents don't need to be licensed here in Belize. And that is something that is being changed. Rachel actually sits on the board of directors for the Belize Association of Realtors. But we also, I'm a member, so we are in communication with them on how to go forward with that. But just note that in every bar or restaurant that you step into here, there is probably a realtor or a real estate agent that can help you. And we try to warn people that although they may label themselves as that, we know that they are not the same level of professional that you are here on the line. So just be aware of that. Escrow is not common and may not be available in the country you are looking. Again, we do have properties across the region here. So this is something just to be aware of. Make sure that you're asking or finding out beforehand while you're working with your client, so that we'll be able to better serve that person. Pack your patience. This is something that was not told to me before I came to Belize. Everything just tends to run a little slower here in the country. And I know, a lot of people will say it's like island time. It is. I mean, that's a real thing. But just know that if you're used to getting title to your residence, to your home in 30 to 90 days, that's just not going to be the case here. It does take quite a bit longer, probably around a year. Or more or less, just depending on how things are going. But just know that it's getting done. It's just not getting done in the manner that you would typically expect it to happen in North America. So financing is not typically and not usually 80%. In North America, we have these great opportunities for funding and financing, and at great interest rates. And that's really not the case when it comes to Central America. Here in Belize, we are able to offer the 80% financing at some different rates depending on what community you're looking at. But typical rates here in Central America are probably about 12.9%, just depending on where you are. But again, that's just not normal. And a lot of people will say, well, yeah, that's really high. Well, you're right, it is really high. It's just not like that here, and that's just something to be aware of. Quality, well-built property will cost you similar build prices as in North America. Yes, you can build a home here for considerably less than what you would expect to spend in the States, but you're also going to see that in the quality of materials that you build with. So if you are expecting to have a North American standardized build, then you should expect to pay North American prices, because again, remember that a lot of those products have to be imported, and you have to have somebody that's knowledgeable and working with those materials to make sure that things are being built correctly. So just keep that in mind. And of course, if you're from the US, I mentioned this earlier, your rental income does need to be reported. So that is something that, of course, we're not tax professionals and we can't talk about that specifically with you, but just know that that is something that we are aware of and you should be aware of too in talking with your clients. All right, so putting your condo in the rental market, get a professional manager. A lot of people that we talk to want to put their home, their residence into a rental program, i.e. Airbnb or something like that. And I would warn you against that. Just, if you're not here in country, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And although the air flight down is quite quick, there are some things that are timely and could cause more damage if you're not here to take care of them right away. So we just recommend you really looking into a professional property management company. Again, just like real estate agents and real estate professionals here in the country, everybody is one. So just do your due diligence on what that looks like here and what makes the most sense for you and what your goals are. Closing fees can be expensive, but the ongoing fees are affordable. Again, your closing fees here in Belize are 8%. 8%. And that sounds high, and it is, but your ongoing costs such as property taxes are as low as $300 US a month. So just put that into perspective of what you would pay in the North American or the United States specifically. You pay a higher fee yearly in the States, usually on property taxes, where it's kind of reverse here. So you pay it up front and then you have lower ongoing costs in the years going forward. So just some recap here. There are your benefits: low property tax, low rental income tax, no capital gains. The cons, of course, are the higher closing fees are higher. And then titling can take some time, but make sure you do your due diligence. So for a smarter ownership, request that resource now. This is something that we put together over the 25 years I mentioned being in the region. We've done we've gone through all the hard learned lessons and we've compiled them all into this consumer resource guide. If you would like one, just go ahead and feel free to send an email to tigar@ecidevelopment.com. We'll send you that resource guide. It's completely complimentary. And it's really applicable to any place in the world. It goes through some different questions you should ask the developer that you're working with, and just different things that you should be aware of when looking at other countries for ownership. So again, I don't know how I'm doing on time here, Sarah, but I'm just gonna run through this real quick. The hottest spot in Belize again is Ambergris Caye. Here we are on the island. It produces over 70% of the entire tourism revenue of the country of Belize. Again, this is where people are coming. This is where they stay. They may travel back and forth from the mainland to do all of those other fun activities that we talked about, but Ambergris Caye truly is the place where people stay. This is where they rent their hotel rooms. This is where they spend the money on tour guides. This is where most of the nightlife is happening. So 70% of Belize's tourism revenue comes from Ambergris Caye. So what does that mean for you? Well, are you looking at, you or your clients, what are you looking at investing in? Are you looking at this purely as rental? Are you looking at as actual residential? Are you making a lifestyle change? So if you're not sure, if your clients aren't sure, there's easy ways to find out. We have surveys that we can send to you to help them really drill down into what it is their goal is in this ownership. But just remember, there is that increased airlift. There is record high tourism that is on the books, and the hotel brands are arriving. They have recognized the need for this ability to find people places to stay. For a while there, we just didn't have the accommodations available to keep up with the amount of tourists that were coming to Ambergris Caye. So the big brand name chains realized that, and is one of the reasons why we're beginning to see this trend toward bringing the brands to the island. There was a Marriott that was opened earlier this year, and we will be the second one on the island. That's an Autograph collection. We're the red branded M, but just know that they have done their due diligence on Ambergris Caye, and they realize that the need for this service is coming. So,
hey,
right
Allie.
place. Yep.
John Lillywhite here. I'm your timer. You're doing fantastic. You have 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, John. So are you in the right place at the right time? If you could have invested in Key West 20 years ago, knowing where it's gone today, would you have? And that's really what it boils down to, is if you are looking at being in the right place at the right time, this is potentially a good place for you to start looking. So these are just some pictures of Ambergris Key. You can see the water there, but on your bottom right hand screen, or bottom right of this slide, you'll see the reef. So we have the longest living reef in the world, and not to be confused with the largest living reef, which is the Great Barrier, but this is the longest reef in the world. And you can just see here some drone footage, I guess you could say. This was the airstrip back in the 80s. And here it is today. We actually have terminals across the country, and they're quite well built out. We do still use pedal jumpers. Max is about 12 people on a flight. So quite exciting, but it's one of the most beautiful flights that you'll probably take in your life. I mean, it's just gorgeous. But just a note here, just this charming, colorful Caribbean Belize community. The people here are generally really, really happy. They want you here. They want to make you feel welcomed, feel at home. And you know, something I found really fun in the beginning was that we came and visited a couple times before we actually settled, and every time we would come back, the places we would frequent would always tell us, you know, welcome home. And it's just become this feeling of being welcomed into a country where, you know, they want to see you enjoy the spoils of this country that they have. So again, just the water activities, some land activities here. We just celebrated, and I see that this slide is out of date now, but our Lobster Fest dates changed. So in July, Lobster Fest opens. It's a huge celebration. We have block parties and different events across the island. Carnival in September. I know you guys have probably heard of the Brazilian Carnival. Very similar, the flamboyant costumes and music and things like that. But if you're also somebody who likes community, getting involved in the community, we do have that here. We have lots of ways to get involved with your community and get to know the people around you. So we already talked to it's best diving in the world. You saw the reef there off the coast. Come experience it for yourself. The fish are as vibrant and active as you have ever seen in a National Geographic video. And I didn't believe it before I came and experienced it myself, but it is true. And that's why you see all these divers that are coming to experience right here at Ambergris Key. So tip number 3, bring small US bills with you. Again, it is pegged to the US dollar here in Belize. 2 Belize dollars equals 1 US dollar, because you can use them. You don't necessarily have to exchange the money. They will accept your US money, and that way you don't end up having a bunch of Belize dollars at the end of your trip that you aren't able to use or you don't want to exchange. So real quick here, I'm going to use these last couple of minutes to just talk to you about the 3 communities we have here in Belize. You'll see on this screen where those are located. So we have the Marriott Residences Belize Ambergris Key right there on the ocean front, looking out into the Caribbean waters. The Best Western property is right off the beach, probably about a 5-minute walk. And then you'll see our Test Village, which are tiny homes. Tiny EcoSmart homes are about a 5-minute boat ride to the west side of the island, where those will be overwatered bungalows and have been quite fun to watch go up. Those start at about $179,000. Just depending on what model you choose, whether it's over the water or on land. The Best Western property that I mentioned, incredible opportunity to get a studio here in Belize for $130,000 turnkey. And then of course the Marriott Residences there, starting under $320,000 for that ocean front residence. But I'm going to close up here by saying, if you want some more information on Belize or this Belize handbook, it is free. Just email us and let me know that you'd like that Belize handbook. It goes through everything from safety to transportation within country and all different kinds of things in that handbook. But with that being said, Rachel, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, actually, I just wanted to say thank you very much, Allie. We're going to ask some questions at the end. I know that if you look in the chat box, everybody who's attending, there have been some questions that have been answered already on Belize, so check the chat box. And I'm going to hand it over to John, because John is going to introduce our next speaker. Thank you so much, Allie. Everybody give her a hand. Yay. Thank you. John?
Allie, you did a great job. Obviously,
Yeah,
this
excellent.
is not your first time speaking. You rock. Thank you for that. Janessa, I'm going to pass it on over to you so that you can do the quick video before I introduce Rachel.
No problem. Let me get it up here for you.
Yes, and it'll calculate it for us and all of that. The other way is.
Very colorful and very good.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Janessa. Before I got into loans about 30 years ago, I was a PR person at a high-tech company. And I did a week-long PR tour down there where I met people from Latin America, South America. We all stayed in a hotel there. I don't think of all the places I've been in this country, I've met anybody that is more friendly than Nicaraguans. They rocked. I mean, this was a bad time in their country when I was there, and you'd never have known it. So I've been in the business for about 30 years in mortgages. I'm in this group because we're one small, insignificant country. And when you start broadcasting outward and you see what's really going on in the hearts and the minds of the rest of the world, boy, not only does it make you feel insignificant, but it makes you feel really, really important at the same time, that we really can make a difference if we just do that cliche thing like, you know what, hold hands and just be respectful of everybody else's country and their culture. That's really what it's all about, right? So, and I think I probably have Rachel and Allie that are going, yeah, right, we get it, we get it. That's where you guys spend your time. And with that, I'm going to introduce Rachel Jensen. She joined the ECI development Teak Hardwood's team in 2012, starting in the organization's marketing intern in the administrative offices in Managua, Nicaragua. At the end of her 3-month internship period, she started making decisions between accepting a full-time position with ECI or chasing her dreams in Panama with the U.S. Peace Corps. Very cool, Rachel. She ultimately chose ECI development, and today she's the vice president of sales and marketing for the ECI development, a regional development company based throughout Latin America in Costa Rica, Belize, Panama, and Nicaragua. She became a resident of Panama in 2016. Wow, that's kind of cool. And today calls San Pedro, Belize home. She thoroughly enjoys Latin American lifestyle and is a strong believer of being global. And Miss Jensen was invited to be a founding member of the Rotaract Club. That's really cool. I like to learn more about that. I'm involved with Rotaract as well. In Embergerie K, you'll have to explain that one to me, and served as the club's director of professional development. And furthermore, Ms. Jensen is the co-founder of the biannual Women's Retreat, 5 Days to Freedom, helping guide women towards financial, spiritual, and international freedom. That's cool. She also sits on the board of the Belize National Association of Realtors. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'd like to introduce Rachel Jensen. Take it away, Rachel. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm going to share my screen here so you'll be able to see it in just a moment. But what I also wanted to do, I'm going to just flip around my camera for a second, is just show you the beaches here in Belize. So obviously I'm going to be talking about Nicaragua in a moment, but Ali just talked about Belize from across the street in one of our other offices. But wanted to just give you a quick overview of what it looks like out here. Can you see it? I think I flipped the camera around and it shouldn't be on me anymore. But these are the beaches, and then in the distance over there, there's the reef, which Ali mentioned is one of the big reasons why it is people are coming to Ambergris Key for the fishing and the diving and all of that. So
okay, you suck, Rachel. We got to get back to work.
We just want you to come down, and I saw Ali just sent over information about the trade mission in December. So maybe that's a good time to come on down. But all right, so I'm going to just jump right in. As was mentioned, I am on the board for the Belize National Association of Real Estate. Here, it's been about 2 years since I've been on the board. I saw a lot of the chats going back and forth about what can you do in Belize? What can't you do? Is there an MLS? And so there's a lot of information there, but obviously I'm not talking about Belize. We can certainly give you more information about that if you're interested. Use that email address at the bottom of the screen, tigar@ecidevelopment.com. And we'll get you all of the documents. But I am going to talk about Nicaragua. So Nicaragua was actually my foray into Central America back in 2010. When I was in college, I was studying pre-med. I thought I'd wanted to be a dermatologist. And my college at that time was offering what they called an experiential learning trip down to Nicaragua. And our focus was going to be on the medical aspect, but also volunteer work. And so in 2010, I went down with my college for a few weeks, loved it. We spent one day at Grand Pacifico, which is the resort opportunities I'm going to talk about, but it was like our free day. And I loved it at that point because, you're outside for 10, 12 hours. We were digging holes for plantain trees and digging holes for wells and outhouses. And I mean, there's just so much manual labor that to sit actually by a beach for a couple of hours was really, really relaxing. And so I just loved the country, loved the experience. And when it was coming time to graduate, I realized I didn't want to go to medical school at that point. I'd actually applied for the Peace Corps, got in to teach English in Panama. And that would have been the January following our May graduation. So I had a good 6 months to do something. I ended up back in Nicaragua 2 weeks after graduation with an internship. And I don't know if any of you on the line have been to Nicaragua before. Just type yes or no. Just type yes or no into the chat. I'm curious if you have been, but I can tell you, I didn't grow up during the Iran-Contra time. That is not what I know about Nicaragua. But I can tell you, when I told my parents, I was so excited right out of college. I was like, this is great. I'm not going to move back home with my parents. Nobody wants to do that right out of college. And so I told my parents, all right, I have 2 weeks and I'm going to go to Nicaragua. And they're like, you could see the blood drain from their face. Like, this is the most dangerous spot. Yes, I was there for a college trip, but we had the chaperones and, we were moved around from place to place. And they thought it was like the most dangerous spot. I was going to get kidnapped. I was going to get robbed. Obviously, none of that happened. It actually ended up being one of the best experiences I've had in my life. And I would highly recommend everybody to take the trip for themselves to see the country. It's very, very similar in geography to Costa Rica. I know a lot of times people have been to Pacific Costa Rica. It's a top tourism destination. Nicaragua is just north of Costa Rica, has a very similar geography, coastline, volcanoes, lakes, but it's kind of the redheaded stepchild in the country. And what happens politically, I can tell you, does not affect you as an expat or a tourist when you are there. So we're gonna I know we have probably a little bit less than 30 minutes at this point, but we're gonna go through why Nicaragua, the top 5 reasons, living in the country, some of the benefits of investing in the country, and then the opportunities for ownership. So we did this already. We're not going to go through that activity again, but it looks like most people have not had the chance to go at some point. I'm going to blow your mind here in a moment. I'm going to tell you how Nicaragua is actually one of the safest countries in the Americas. This is something that just continues to shock people, but I'll show you that in a moment. And then another reason why Nicaragua is such a popular place is because of the extreme low cost of living. And, if you are somebody or you have clients who are looking to just stretch their dollar, maybe retirement is coming and you didn't save as much and you want your dollar to go further, this is a great place to do so. I know I would have lunch on a daily basis from the restaurants around us when I was living there for about $2.50, $3. You can get a great steak meal for about $15. And so and I remember going to the restaurants and beer was like 90 cents. Soda was like 95 cents. And I was like, wow, beer is actually less expensive than soda. But you'll find there that it's also very geographically diverse. You have the mountains, you have Somoto Canyon, which we refer to as the Grand Canyon of Nicaragua. You can go tubing, down it, canoeing, great coffee. If you guys like coffee or chocolate, that's all there in the country as well. So Ali showed the real estate investment curve previously. What you'll see on this curve are countries that are rated essentially by investors' mindset. So when you're looking for a product that's going to mature in the marketplace, that's already cash flowing. Let's say you're buying an investment property, you want something that's already cash flowing. So you'll be looking in Pacific Costa Rica, Panama. These places have been in the tourism marketplace for the last 25, 30 years. If you're somebody who wants to experience high levels of appreciation, you'll look where most people are not going right now, because that gives you the grounds for opportunity, for growth, for increases in prices. It's going to be more affordable to get in, but you may not necessarily have that cash flow aspect there. As you can see, Costa Rica was even thin sliced by region here. And Nicaragua could actually be the same. Nicaragua as a whole, as a country, is very low on the emerging destination curve. It's not as popular as all the places above, but as you thin slice it, I would say at Grand Pacifica, one of the projects we have, it's probably at the same part that Belize is at, that sweet spot, because it's been in the marketplace for the last 15 years. We have had rentals there for the last 15 years. It's the closest beachfront community to Managua. And so you're able to have that added value when you're looking at it from that regard. So Nicaragua is actually one of the safest countries in Central America. I know that continues to surprise people, but it has, what's nice is that for people who are looking at real estate, because there is this false belief in the lack of safety, it does tend to be more affordable. And when you look at the homicides per 100,000 inhabitants, Nicaragua is actually below Panama. It's below Costa Rica. You look at some US cities, you see it's even way below Cleveland and St. Louis, Missouri. And I mean, I get this question all the time. Is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? Well, what are we comparing it to? Are we comparing it to cities in the US? Or are we comparing it to other countries? And when you look at it there on the chart, you see it is below some of those other countries. And I can go on and on about that, but I just want to buzz through this so we get through everything. We also have, as Ali mentioned, for Belize, for Nicaragua, we have a Nicaragua handbook that covers this in great detail. So if you want the bigger version, reach out to us and we'll get you those details. In addition to that, affordable real estate. So where we're located in Nicaragua, it's on the Pacific side of the country. Pacific side is the area that's grown the most in terms of real estate development. And when you're looking out of your window and in your condo at Grand Pacifica, or your home at Grand Pacifica, you're looking straight out to the Pacific waters, to the best surf breaks in Latin America. And you have that same Pacific view in a sense that you have in San Diego, California, or in Costa Rica and in Playa Flamingo, but you see prices are a lot lower. And I know it's, not necessarily fair for us to compare a San Diego and Nicaragua because they're two very different markets, but just in terms of real estate prices, you can see you have a 1-bedroom suite there for $160,000 looking over the Pacific waters in a gated community that's already built up in the tourism market. So what we've seen is that there have been two major events that have really kept the real estate prices low in Nicaragua. One of them is the social political issues. There were social security reforms. They weren't handled the best. The media definitely liked to spin that into crazy news. And there was also COVID-19. And as a result, both of these have kept the real estate prices low, which has been great for the opportunists. Last year was actually our best year. Well, first half of this year was even better, but in terms of growth, people looking for options. In addition to that, we're seeing that the tourism is continuing to increase. And, remember, we're not as popular as Panama or Costa Rica or some of these other countries. So that gives more opportunity for growth. In addition to that, there's an extreme low cost of living. I gave you just a couple of examples there, but if anybody would like more of a cost of living chart, feel free to reach out to me and I'd love to get that to you. And I mentioned to you prices before. You get a good sized good size breakfast for $4. This one, you get a steak dinner for $9. I think mine was $15, which I still think is very, very affordable. Number 5 is the proximity to North America. You are able to get direct flights. It takes about 3 hours, 3 hours and 15 minutes from Houston, Dallas. You're able to go from Miami and a handful of other places. I would just recommend reaching out if you would like more information on how to get there. And then living in Nicaragua. So Nicaragua has incredible options when it comes to the activities that you can participate in. Obviously, we're on the 2 coasts, so you're able to go fishing, snorkeling, diving. Sorry, it looks like that G there, and it didn't say surfing. There's a G there hanging below surfing if you are somebody who enjoys doing that. And then the country just has a lot of outdoor experiences, nature walks, hiking, dirt biking, rafting. And then I mentioned Somoto Canyon, which is one of my favorite experiences there, but there are lagoons, natural lagoons, and coffee farms and chocolate farms that you're able to experience. So more and more people are starting to hear about Nicaragua and making their way down there. If you're ever down in Nicaragua, I would highly recommend visiting Granada. It is an incredible city. It's one of the oldest cities in Latin America and Central America. It's colorful. It's right there on the lake, and really great restaurants and culture there. So just within the country, I mentioned there's a lot to be doing. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to personally guide you and let you know where it is that you can visit. Something that when I was in Managua, something I used to do on the weekend is rent a car and go check out these places. Go drive to Masaya, go drive to Leon, go drive to Granada or San Juan. And never drove to Corn Islands though. For that one, we always did fly over to the Caribbean coast there, but just a really, really stunning spot. And if somebody wants to see an active volcano, you are able to see the Masaya volcano there, which is quite neat. It's about 45 minutes from Managua. If you're a surfer, you can learn how to surf in Nicaragua. At our property, there are 2 of the best surf breaks in Central America: baby waves, beginner waves, and also more experienced waves. So let's just talk about the benefits of investing. So one, as a company, we have been in the region and in Nicaragua specifically for about 20 years. And we have invested tens of millions of dollars into this country. In order for us to go into a country, we have to feel comfortable. We have to do the due diligence. We don't just haphazardly spend money in countries where we feel endangered. And in Nicaragua, you are able to own property as a foreigner. You get title to your property. As a whole, ECI, our Grand Pacifica property, does have title insurance. Our entire property does have title insurance. That doesn't transfer over to the new buyers, but just know the security there of having it as a whole at Grand Pacifica. In addition to that, we talked about titles. So you do get title to it. As a foreigner, you get title to the property. It can be freehold or it would be strata, just depending on if it's a condo or land ownership. In addition, there are easy residency programs. One of the most popular we've seen are the investor programs. So if you want to just make sure that you have access to come and go to your property as you please, you can apply for the investor residency. Only $30,000 needed to invest in the country in order to get your residency there. We have whole tutorials on this, so I'm not going to bog down too much into the details. But on the right-hand side, you can see the property, part of the property, at least you can see some of the condos, some of the single-family homes that are already there at Grand Pacifica. And within Grand Pacifica, it's a large property, 2,500 acres. We have golfing there, tennis courts that are actually going up right now. There's a gym, horses for stables, surfing. I mentioned that, boogie boarding, swimming, pools, spa, a lot there on site for people to access. And what makes this property so unique is the fact that it is the closest to the airport. It is about 45 minutes, an hour from the Managua airport. And then there are neighborhoods for everybody. One of the most popular has been Ava. It's an eco-village tiny home community. Right now, we have about 100 homes within Ava, and over the last year, about 70 of them have sold. 70 homes in Nicaragua within this one community have sold because people are looking for entry pricing. They're looking to serve a market, and they're just looking for a plan B. They want something affordable, close to the Pacific, and right there on the rivers. We do provide our clients with projected performance just based on historical past, so people can see what those numbers would look like. But the Ava tiny home community has been very popular because of the sustainability, eco-friendliness of it, where people can live off-grid, gray water recycling, and the green roof. And then with these projects, we do have cash progress payments. We accept cryptos, which I think is something unique for our marketplace. We accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, and USDT. In addition to that, we as developers offer 80% financing, 80%. And then we accept gold and silver. We've had people do a mix of things, crypto, gold, financing, cash. So your clients are able to get creative when it comes to ownership. And then for those of you who are from the States, I think everybody is, but if you have clients from the States and they're able to use their self-directed IRA. So what I'm going to do is recommend you reach out for the free Nicaragua handbook. This is a great white paper for you to learn more about the projects, more about the country generally. We just highlighted one of the multiple neighborhoods within Grand Pacifica with their condos, single family homes, larger estate home sites. There's a home that just got finished. It's about 6,000 square feet on about an acre of beachfront land there at Grand Pacifica. It's a guy from Colorado who owns an adventure sports company, came down on a surf trip and loved it. So he built a home for him and his family. Then we got a great team of people who've actually been there, done that, and can guide your clients properly. So with that being said, I know that we just went through a lot of information here. I think we still have a couple of minutes. I did see some of the questions come through, and I can't, where'd they go here? Something about the government. And let me tell you this, that in Nicaragua, you're gonna hear about it politically until Ortega dies. But I can tell you, as somebody who's coming into the country, you're coming in as a tourist, a foreigner, you're not going to be standing outside, or I hope you're not standing outside protesting Ortega. That's not your business. You're coming into this country as a tourist or as an expat, or, I can tell you the people in our community had no idea what was going on politically. And, besides what was on the news, but they aren't out there protesting. And I would encourage nobody go out there and protest if they're not from that country and a citizen of that country. It's really, let them handle it. You're enjoying the country. You're there because you want to be there. You're enjoying the low cost of living, the benefits to being there. And so you might as well just go into the beach, go grab a maquaa. That's the national drink they have there. It's a rum, and I think it's pineapple. Gosh, I don't remember all that's in it. We just made them recently for one of our 101s, but go enjoy the beach, go enjoy your time there, and just enjoy. It's easy, I think, for people to get so caught up in politics that they end up creating more stress within themselves than typically they tend to find. I'm seeing Kathy mention there, Nicaragua and is popular, I think, because Costa Rica and Panama have become expensive. And when people are looking for a lower cost of living, they're going where it's inexpensive, and Nicaragua does tend to be that place there. And asking about cost of living per month, it varies, again, just depending on your lifestyle. You can live there for $800, $1,000 a month and live, well. If you want to live extravagantly, reserve $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month. But it depends really on what bills you'll be paying. Do you have a mortgage? Do you have to lease a car? Are you going to buy a car? Do you have insurance? But it's just very different.
Hey, Rachel?
Yes. I think are we at the half hour mark?
You got 3 minutes. You're doing fantastic, girl. 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes. Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm just going through the questions here at this point. But yes, Claudia, accepting cryptocurrency. We've been doing it for a few years now, but it's really been over the last year, I think, as Bitcoin went up and went over that 15,000 mark that people have been paying with cryptocurrency. Then I'm seeing Sarah saying typical rent for a 2-bed are the lease annual or longer, Airbnb or hotel. So typical rent for a 2-bed, it depends if it's nightly or long-term rental. Typically, if you're right there on the beach, you can do a rental there for about $200 a night. If you're doing it long-term, you can do about $1,400, $1,500 a month. But it just depends. That's within Grand Pacifica specifically. Once you go outside of gated communities, then you'll tend to find those numbers drop tremendously. But within Grand Pacifica, everything is operated by our Grand Pacifica management team. We did at one point allow people to do Airbnbs and one-offs. And what really happens when you're within a gated community is you lose this sense of continuity. And especially if you're serving the tourism market, which we have a big tourism market at Grand Pacifica, then it becomes a little complicated. And the experience for the guest isn't great because they don't know who to go to. The owner of the condo is not there. It just complicates things. So we've been operating it as a hotel for the last 15 years. So it's really a turnkey solution for our clients. But we have had clients refer friends to come and stay, and they'll earn a referral fee for doing so. But it's a really good experience. And I know that's something we've been working a lot with, and Ali specifically as our program coordinator, is helping realtors to get the sort of details that they need in order to market international properties to their clients. You know, because you're not legally able to work in this country, you can't do the sale, but you can certainly send over referrals and then have the on-site team take care of it. You can be part of the process. Ali has this great lead lock system so that you're able to lock your lead into the system so that you get that referral fee for life. Not just if they buy one property, we keep track of it in our system to make sure you're getting it for life. So Ali, I know that's something you usually talk about. Sorry for stealing your thunder there, but that's why I wanted to let you know that we're here for you all. And we really enjoy meeting realtors and having your clients learn about the properties and the projects. Obviously, Ali and I are very passionate about what we're doing. We live the expat life. We thoroughly enjoy it, which is why we're still here. We're here by choice. And we hope that you have, either you personally or you have clients who are looking to experience it. I see Kathy saying, tell me more about this referrals for life. So we have this CRM system called HubSpot, HUBSPOT. It's a very sophisticated CRM system. Look into it if you're not familiar with it. But Ali creates dedicated landing pages, links, marketing material for you. And once somebody enters the system, you are entered in as the lead source. And so what we tend to find in our market, especially for vacation properties or second home ownership, is that it takes people time to move forward. It's not like a quick purchase if somebody's buying real estate that they're going to live in, right? When they're living in something, it's fairly quick. When they're buying something overseas, it takes time. So we do a lot of internal marketing ourselves. We send a lot of webinar invites and free white papers and guides. So even if your client buys, tomorrow a tiny home in Belize, and then 10 years from now, when we launch a brand new project in Argentina, let's say, and they decide to buy in Argentina too, you're already locked in as being that referral agent. And so you get that referral fee too. So we keep track of this. We've been around for 25 years in this business, and we intend to be around at least for another 25 more. I know our CEO talks about being in the business for hundreds of years. So we've definitely poised our company to do so. But I think I'm at the end of my time there, and I want to be respectful of our Panama speaker. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in. And there's the email address there at the bottom left if you want to reach out to us.
Good work, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And thanks for the intro, John. Now we're going to move on to Panama, and Maria is going to introduce us. So Maria, take it away.
Muted.
You're muted. Please turn on your mic.
My apologies. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Jensen. I'm a realtor at EGA Homes, Riverside. I've joined the global committee because I just love the idea of working with like-minded individuals that care about the same things. In addition, learning and meeting people across the world is just amazing. So I'm excited to be here. Let's play a video of Panama. Janessa, if we can get that video on, that would be great.
All right, here we go.
Thank you, Janessa. Okay, I'm going to be introducing Brandon Keks. I hope I pronounced your word correctly, Brandon. My apologies if I did not.
No, great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so he is the CEO and co-founder of the Pensio Group, Brandon oversees the incubation, growth, administration of both early stage and mature financial technology, insurance-backed products and programs that serve the residential and commercial real estate sectors in multiple global markets. Wow, okay. As an entrepreneur and executive, Brandon is also involved with investment and deal structuring in a range of opportunities from credit-enhanced real estate investing, deal underwriting, and film financing. Prior to entering the real estate and insurance industries, Brandon has 7 years experience in business development and operations management with international generic pharmaceutical companies. Brandon graduated from the Omnium Global Executive MBA at the University of Toronto, Rotman, and University of St. Gallen, Switzerland. His key areas of expertise and interest during the Global MBA were strategy, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Welcome, Brandon.
Thank you, Maria. Appreciate the introduction and great presentations, everyone. I really, really enjoyed learning about all these other markets that really I don't have a lot of familiarity with. So I look forward to, finding out more. I'm really excited about the opportunity to speak with you today and talk a little bit more about Panama. Now, my company, and I'll just put up our presentation, Pensio, if you're wondering what that name means, it means rent in Latin. And it really is meant to highlight what the core of what Pensio does. And Pensio, we are a credit risk insurance company, and we are currently operating in 4 countries: Canada, the US, Panama, and the Bahamas. We're headquartered in Toronto, where I'm calling from. I'm actually just north at a cottage right now on vacation, but happy to be here. But what we've done for many years is created an underwriting program where we can essentially insure rental income on investment properties. And it has really grown from, being a support for real estate developers and lenders into really a really strong retail program for investors. So we've underwritten more than 600 million in rent globally in the 4 markets that we're in. Everything we do is reinsured within the Lloyd's market. So that means we're backed by A-Best rated reinsurance. And we primarily do it as a way to, through what we call a pre-construction 5-year rent guarantee program, where through the first 5 years of ownership on a property, we will guarantee a certain amount of rental income, and then also typically manage the assets on behalf of our investors. So I've got an insurance company, a large property management division, and then we've got a real estate division as well. So really we can support all facets of a real estate project's lifestyle, our life cycle. A lot of what we do, though, is in the pre-construction condo and hotel condo space. And a couple of years ago, it's almost 4.5 years ago now, we were asked to come and take a look at Panama. And to be honest, I didn't know a lot about Panama. I traveled around the Caribbean, but Panama really hadn't been on my radar other than just being knowledgeable about the Panama Canal. So I flew down with my business partners, and we did almost a 3-week tour of the country, met with both local business stakeholders, government officials, and a lot of actually expat retirees, primarily from Canada and the US, who had retired or either snowbird in Panama. And to be honest, I was blown away. I was surprised by the level of development within the country, the ease of travel, the ease of doing business, how easy it is to communicate there, and also the quality of real estate. Now, I'm going to try and skip ahead in the in the presentation to, bear with me. Just to talk a little bit about Panama before I start talking about the investment opportunity. Panama really is a world-class international hub. Not only does it have an incredible, recently completed airport, which makes it very easy to travel in and out of, whether you're coming from North America, South America, or Europe, or Asia. Panama itself has consistently ranked as one of the top places to live and retire. It's been in the top 3 really for the last 10 years by Forbes. And when you arrive into Panama City, you know, you really feel like you're in a strong business center like Hong Kong or Shanghai, but with a Latin American feel. And it doesn't take long to get out of what is this incredible downtown business center into what is the most incredible, pristine environment, whether you're looking to surf or do ecotourism. There's so much to offer in terms of biodiversity and pursuing lifestyle. Additionally, Panama is extremely safe. You saw a couple of the charts that were presented earlier, how Panama actually compares to the rest of Central South America and even against the US. And a lot of that is because of the Panama Canal. Panama's on a US dollar-based economy, and the canal as a strategic geopolitical and trade tool, it is very much protected by the US. So it's very easy as an expat or a non-resident to travel in, communicate with locals, move around, walk around at night in the major parts of the city. And I built this presentation originally when I presented to ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, because there was a large interest in what does the expat community look like? Well, you know, it's made up of many people from North America, Canada, and the US, but a growing European contingent, and then additionally a large amount of people moving there from China. And that leads me to talk about sort of permanent residency and where that's headed. So lifestyle, ease of travel. Also for people looking to relocate their families, there's excellent education and healthcare, which I think are really important for people that are looking to relocate or retire. If you have children, and we have many investor clients that are relocating their families to Panama, they have IB schools that are a great stepping stone to US and Canadian post-secondary institutions. And additionally, Panama's healthcare system. Panama has a 2-tier system, private and public, but their private system is one of the most affordable and best in the world, hands down. They've got many affiliate hospitals to the US, like Johns Hopkins. Additionally, healthcare insurance is very affordable. And you know, myself as a Canadian who has business in Panama and has bought health insurance and has acquired property in Panama, I've been blown away by the service and how it situates itself as a medical tourism destination as well. From a tax basis, Panama has some of the best tax structures for offshore investment. So whether looking to relocate assets or purely invest in Panama through real estate or other means, it has some of the very low capital gains, no inheritance tax, no wealth tax, and overall one of the best systems. And as a leading offshore banking destination, it's very easy to open up bank accounts with reputable institutions. And we've got great counsel locally that can support that as well. We offer a list of about 50 banks to choose from, although we have our top 3 that we work closely with Pensio and that we can direct clients into. And one of the big things that we offer through Pensio is a way for foreign investors to invest into Panama real estate with guaranteed rental income and as a way to get permanent residency in Panama. So our company currently markets Panama real estate globally. Obviously, we do a lot of business in Canada and the US because they're our home countries, but internationally, both Europe, South Africa, India, China, Hong Kong, we have a huge rush, especially as a result of COVID, of investors looking to diversify, gain permanent residency status, and look to situate themselves in a strong offshore community where they can manage and protect their assets, and maybe as a hedge to some of the issues in their home country. So we've had a lot of investors, as an example, out of Hong Kong, looking to invest, potentially relocate their families, and land some of their assets there to protect them. And it's an interesting mix of what we see in terms of permanent residents coming in, of those looking to actually relocate to Panama, or just looking as a hedge against their home country passport or residency. So we have great lawyers and attorneys locally that help our clients get set up for tax efficiency, to incorporate themselves and get themselves domiciled correctly. But one great thing which has happened through COVID in Panama is the evolution of their permanent residency laws. So for investors, depending on what country you're coming in from, there recently was an improvement called the Decree 722 permanent residency, as well as recent improvements to the Friendly Nations visa, which really impacts North American investors. These programs allow foreign investors to gain permanent residency largely remotely in terms of getting approved and through the process, meaning that you don't actually have to travel to Panama to initiate the permanent residency process or even acquire property in pursuit of that. And it actually requires a pretty minimal investment. It can, for the Friendly Nations visa, you only have to acquire a property worth at least $200,000. But that doesn't mean you have to buy a $200,000 property, because it can include mortgage or debt financing, which we can also support depending on the purchase. So if you bought a $200,000 property and then say had a 60 or even potentially an 80% mortgage, that would still qualify. And through the Decree 722, it's a little bit higher. It's about $300,000, but that's where a lot of our Southeast Asian clients acquire through Decree 722. So we can help them acquire their property remotely, and then they only have to travel Panama to complete the process and do biometric scans. And then to maintain permanent residency, you only have to travel to Panama once every 2 years to maintain status, which is quite unique in terms of the global PR market. So a lot of our buyers will remain in their home country and hold on to their PR, traveling to visit every 2 years to keep their status and hold it as a hedge. And this is where our company, Pensio, really has created a very unique niche in the market, because we offer turnkey investment properties. Now you can see this image on the screen. Now, this is a property I want to talk about that we call MDH, or Mini Design House. Mini Design House is a boutique condo hotel right in Panama City that we have been hands-on in designing and optimizing as the perfect vehicle for foreign investors to gain permanent residency, get guaranteed income, and invest at a really minimal barrier to entry in the Panama market. And you can see the views from it is a rendering, but from the rooftop pool over the skyline of Panama City. It's an exceptional product. So MDH, or Mini Design House, it's a boutique hotel, what we call an independent short-term extended stay real estate investment unit, which is just a fancy way of saying we're going to operate it essentially as an Airbnb type hotel. But that allows us to provide very competitive guaranteed income returns to investors. Additionally, we provide guaranteed occupancy, meaning that while it's under construction currently, we guarantee the occupancy date. So there's no fear about completion or the completion date of the property and when returns will start, because we've insured the entire transaction, not including construction bonding and completion bonding on the asset. And we've co-developed with one of the country's leading luxury real estate developers, being the Durex or the Addy Group. This property we've chosen to locate in El Barrio, which is a really trendy neighborhood, close to the financial center, shopping, restaurants, so very pedestrian neighborhood. There's a good shot of the tower. So we had 224 units initially for sale, and they're selling out quite quickly. And they're made up of furnished studio and one-bedroom units. Now, with our guaranteed program, what we've been able to structure with this property specifically, because we've been so hands-on with our development partner and with the bank financing the development, is that we have actually structured 20-year fixed term financing for investors. And what does that mean? It means that there's no qualification for mortgage financing, that investors only need to come in with $40,000 down or $39,999 as a down payment. We will give fixed term financing for the balance of the purchase. So regardless of unit type being purchased, they're all the same down payment. And additionally, there'll be about $5,000 in closing fees, but no financing costs. And with that $40,000 down, we're actually able to provide a guaranteed rental income on an annual basis that's cash flow positive. And that's a real, key word in our industry, is when I put my money down, what does my return look like? Well, we're guaranteeing that. So on a $40,000 deposit, Pensio for 20 years will guarantee a positive annual cash flow of $4,800 paid quarterly. So every quarter, $1,200 cash would be sent to the investors, and that can be in Panama if they want to keep that money domestic there, or we can wire it anywhere internationally. So that really works out to be about a 12.5% annual cash on cash yield. But then when we look at it from the 20-year term of ownership, 20-year being the term of financing to pay down and then own it outright, it works out to be about a 27% guaranteed NOI and a 49% annual yield when you look at the appreciation through the market. So each unit is fully furnished and designed to be optimized for income. So each unit comes with high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, valet parking. We've got motorcycle bike parking, incredible rooftop infinity pool and fitness center. We also have a very well-designed co-working space and a large boardroom, which can also be booked out, really to design the property to be for a hybrid business and vacation traveler using either Panama City as a stopping point for their business travels within Panama City or as a stepping stone to then travel throughout the country. You can see some of the renderings of the units where they are, small suites, but really high-end fit and finishes. So each unit comes with air conditioning, washer and dryer, refrigerator, a kitchenette. So they are livable suites. So those that want to, cook for themselves or just have the option of that, it's there. And they come kitted out with all other appliances like toaster, coffee maker, etc. Kitchen and glassware, pots and pans, fully linened, fully furnished, with a strong FF&E reserve. So as wear and tear occurs, we will continue to replace and upgrade everything within the units every few years. And they're designed to be smart units, meaning that everything's automated. So you will have the opportunity for keyless cell phone enabled entry, app entry, and that allows us to really do tight security monitoring, but allow our guests for really the ease of access with minimum touch points. You can see sort of the elevation. So you have the lobby floor, a couple floors of commercial, and then the balance of residential with the rooftop amenity, which is highlighted here on the right, where you can see the gym in the top left corner, the outdoor pool and lounge area, and then the co-working space in the bottom right. Have some sample floor plans here so you can see how they range from 27 to 33 square meters per unit. And then an overall purchase price, it works out to be about $200,000 to $230,000 per unit. But that cost is fully financed through our bank partners. So really all you need to come up with is choose which unit you like, and we'll take care of the rest on the financing side, and we can assist with permanent residency application. So each one of these units, because of their price point, is designed to meet that Friendly Nations visa $200,000 unit acquisition with financing. So for investors out of North America, they're perfectly optimized for that. Here's a dollhouse view of the furnished suites. You can see that we have 3 models, 1, 2, and 3. It's really take your pick right now as we continue to sell at the balance of units. And one thing that it's really important to mention is that we offer flex use with these units, meaning that every investor owner will have the right to visit Panama and stay in their units for an unlimited amount of time every year. And all we do is we net down the amount of guaranteed return based on usage, meaning that we discount the average daily rate that we'd be charging as it operates as a boutique hotel for the usage by the owner. And based on the numbers, what that works out to be is roughly around almost a month to 2 months of usage annually. So you could come and basically stay in your unit for a month every year, and you wouldn't even use up your full amount of your guaranteed return. And all expenses are built in. So when I say that there's a $4,800 annual cash flow, that's net of all HOA, net of financing and mortgage, net of condo fees. And we can show a breakdown, and I can share that with you, what the investor pro forma looks like, and what the term pricing. But you can see here on a basis of unit that the purchase prices work out to be, anywhere from the 130 to just over 200,000 per unit in terms of your term pricing. But what's important is the guarantee covers all monthly financing and expenses. Let me see if I can take it to, how we structure it. So with that $40,000 deposit, $5,000 due on signing, $15,600 due within 30 days, and the balance of $20,000 within 90 days. To qualify for the fixed term mortgage financing, each buyer must opt into the Pensio property management program, which guarantees the rental income. But buyers could come in, buy the unit outright if they wanted to use it themselves. They just couldn't self-manage it as a rental if they wanted to. But if you wanted to buy it and just hold it as the vacant unit or potentially move into it, that's where that option is there for investors. So again, no financing fees. Closing costs are estimated to be about $5,000, which really covers the land transfer tax, legal fees, and the first year of property and casualty insurance. As well, there is title insurance and title in Panama. So each purchase gets registered on title. Full title doesn't transfer until the financing is paid out over the 20-year term. So buyer gets registered upon purchase. Transfer of title occurs once the financing gets paid out after 20 years. There is the option for early buyout of financing or to sell and flip. So while COVID has affected global real estate markets, and Panama was no exception, excuse me, we do see the market bouncing back, and we've had an incredible rush of sales over the last few months. And I'm pretty bullish on the market. I think we'll see continued appreciation. So, if you're seeing that over the next 5-10 years, your MDH unit is appreciating, then you can absolutely sell at any point. You just have to pay out the remaining financing on the unit. We do have other properties available in Panama for sale. We've got a number of luxury condos that range anywhere from $500,000 to well over $1.5 million, depending on buyer interest. But MDH is the one that really was our baby, and we were heavily involved in designing. Additionally, purchasers can assign their prior to closing. The cost of assignment is $10,000 unless it's assigned to a family member. So if you wanted to close on a unit and transfer to your kids or to a relative, there would be no assignment fee. I did mention about selling and cash purchase. So 28 of the units were available for full cash purchase. If you wanted to buy it outright without the financing. And I think we have about 20 of those left. I'll have to double check with my agents, but if you or your investors are interested, they could do an all cash purchase. And in terms of commissions and how we've structured this, we worked out a great partnership with ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association, who we're co-broking this project with. And commissions are about 4 to 5% of the purchase price per unit, depending on which unit is acquired. And $5,000 of commissions is typically paid upon receipt of the $40,000 deposit, and then the balance of the commission paid at close.
Hey, Brandon?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. You're doing a great job. Keep rolling. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, great. I think I've already covered some of this, self-managing. So you could opt out of the program and buy it outright. You just can't manage as a self-directed short-term rental. Additionally, the flex use, you can use it anytime for you or your friends to come visit and stay. So myself, I've acquired a couple units in this property, and I plan to use it as my hub when I travel down for Panama for business over the next few years. So if you do buy one, you're likely to see me there while I'm there. And additionally, just to remind, the Pensio rental income guarantee. So what that is a 20-year turnkey property management agreement with guaranteed rental income. It's secured by an insured performance bond by a US-based insurance company called Rentalis, and then reinsured through Lloyd's, London. So excellent, better reinsurance behind it. So for those that are maybe unfamiliar with Panama or a little bit concerned about investing, you know that you're supported and backed by a US-based insurance group and reinsured through Lloyd's, which is, you know, a very familiar name. So yeah, we're very interested in working with you guys in supporting sales, whether it's yourself looking to potentially invest in Panama or open this up to your network of investors. And I'd be happy to answer any more questions. I'll make sure to put my contact information again in the chat, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Sorry, I realized I might have missed some of the questions in the chat as well. Oh, sorry, mentioned 40K down was the total price of a student unit. It ranges between 130 to just about $200,000 per unit. It is still under construction. Its guaranteed occupancy date is December 2023. And if construction is delayed, we will still start our guaranteed payments at that time while dealing with any potential construction delays, although we don't anticipate any. HOA fees vary per unit type and size, but is covered under your guaranteed payment. And I think I may have covered them all. So thanks everyone for the opportunity for me to present. And I'd love to follow up with you and see how we can support you and your investor network with MDH. So thank you.
Great, Brandon. Good timing.
That was great. Thank you so much. I learned so much. Very informative. All three presenters made a lot of good points for us to learn from. I found it very informative. I just want to go to all three countries now. So we're looks like a lot of questions were answered in the Facebook, and I do have a couple questions, just general questions for all three presenters, and then we could go to open questions for a few minutes after that if we have time. One of the general questions for all three, we'll start with Belize, and then we'll go to Nicaragua and then Panama for the answer. First question, is there year-round access to the properties, and what districts or locations are best for buyers to focus on?
Yeah, so really that's going to depend on your interest, but year-round access, yes, and good question. That is one of the questions that is addressed in our consumer resource guide. because you don't ever know, during rainy season, if the roads are going to be covered in water or washed out. So the properties that we are developing, you do have that infrastructure in place. The roads are there year round, so you are able to access them, as well as the ones that were across on the west side of the island. There are boats to get you back and forth from the center of town over to that property. And then what was the other half of your question there, Anne?
What's the best district you would recommend looking at first?
Yeah, so again, just generally, if you're looking at this purely as an investment opportunity, you want to go where the people are. You want to invest where the people are going to. So, Ambergris Key, which is in the Belize City District, that would be a good place to start. But if you're looking at a lifestyle change, you want to be away from the crowds, you want to be away from the hustle and bustle, I would recommend, the Cayo, Placencia area or the Corozal area on the mainland.
Great.
Yep, and I would echo that too, what Ali was saying for Nicaragua. We've been really proud of the fact that we were able to pave the 11-kilometer stretch going from the primary road out to the project. In Latin America, it really is up to the developer to be the one to develop that infrastructure, even if it is considered a public road or public access way. If they're not doing it, then you can definitely not count on the government or public money to be paving that for you. So it's a smooth ride going out to Grand Pacifica. If you asked me that 10 years ago, I would say it may not be able to get to it as easily during rainy season, but it is accessible at this point. And in addition to that, I would say best district to look at or visit. Just really depends on what your interest and goals are. But the Pacific coast of Nicaragua is, I think, the area that's definitely the most up and coming. There are different areas within the Pacific. You do tend to hear a lot about San Juan del Sur, where we're located. Grand Pacifica, because of the location and proximity to Managua, is popular. And then if you're just looking to totally unwind, uncharge, I would recommend the Corn Islands on the Caribbean side. I remember going out there and we took a panga from Big Corn Island to Little Corn Island, and the people from the hotel greeted me with a wheelbarrow, and they put my luggage in the wheelbarrow, and then there were paths through the jungle in order to get to the hotel. There was no transportation otherwise, no golf carts like we drive in Belize, or no cars. It was just manual, and so that was pretty neat. I'd also recommend Matagalpa in the northern part of the region, the coffee growing region. One of my favorite hotels up there is called Selva Negra, and it's there at a coffee farm, and it's owned by a German couple, and it's a very Hansel and Gretel type of experience. So that would be my recommendations, but obviously it depends on what your client is looking for when they're coming to this country.
Oh, great. And regarding Panama, what's the best place?
Well, it really depends. So Panama City has an incredible array of luxury condos available for sale. So we have actually 8 different projects in Panama City of luxury condo real estate that's available to investors. But, for those that are really looking to get out of Panama City, there's some incredible resorts. Depending if you want to have a little bit more of a luxury, full service type resort, we're involved with Buenaventura, which is developed by Grupo Verde Azul, which is a phenomenal multi-phase family-owned resort development with a Jack Nicklaus golf course. Or you can get further out to surfing communities or Boca de Toros, which is way more eco-friendly and a little bit more of a trek, but pristine environment. I love the idea of having a place in Panama City as a jumping off point, and then exploring out to the various regions within the country to explore from there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. How are we doing on time? Do I have time to ask one more question? Yes? Okay.
Yes, you're good.
Great, thank you. So the next question for the panel is, how long can foreigners stay in your country without a visa? And how much money is required to invest if you want to get like an investment visa? Just real quick numbers. We'll start again with Belize.
Yep, so typically people come in on a 30-day tourist visa that is renewable every 30 days up to about the 6-month mark. And at that point, they really want to see that you are interested in investing in the country or becoming a resident of the country. I have had people that have decided to stay here as a digital nomad and continue to work. So they leave the country for a few days and come back and start that cycle all over again. But the investor residency program is a minimum of $250,000 into the country that can lead to that citizenship after 5 years.
Awesome. And then in Nicaragua, you're able to enter the country as a tourist and stay there for 90 days, 90 days at a time. It's a $10 fee that you'll pay at the airport when you enter, and then it gives you access to the country for 90 days. I know when I was spending time there and wasn't sure if I wanted to do the residency or not, I would just border hop, take a bus, go to Costa Rica, and spend a few days there in Costa Rica, and then just go back up to Nicaragua. But if you're planning, or your clients who are planning to live there or spend time, then I would definitely recommend the pensionado, the retiree visa, or investor residency. And it is fairly easy. I would never recommend dual citizen. Well, Nicaragua does not permit dual citizenship, so you can't ever get another passport there, but you can get residency, which gives you access to being there full time and not having to do that border run.
And then for Panama, it's either 90 or 180 days, depending on your country. But for American citizens, they can stay in Panama for 180 days for any one stretch. And then for residency, as I mentioned, there's a couple different residency programs, Decree 722, Friendly Nations, and they also have a pensionado or retirement visa as well. So it's anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 in terms of real estate purchase. But our MDH, as I mentioned, is designed to allow for Americans to invest and get permanent residency through their purchase.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions they want to type into the chat real quick for our panel? Give you a few minutes.
I would just, while we wait for some questions, this is Rachel Jensen in Nicaragua. I would just say, reach out to us. Ali and I work together. Our company ECI is across the board in Latin America. We're just covering 2 of the countries that we work in here, but just so many opportunities, and I could go one by one on all of them, but don't want to bore you all. And I know you all have clients of different interests and caliber and what they're looking for. So reach out to us. We really appreciate everybody tuning into this. I see Ali just left her contact info there. Feel free to reach out. She's our referral program director, so you'd be working directly with her. And then do come down to Belize in December. We'd love to have you here for that tour. And I saw Ali put the info in the chat earlier, but if you didn't see it, or I think it might have gotten pushed up there, just feel free to email her and she'll get those details over to you.
You guys did
That's
great.
great.
Thank you for that.
That is
Good work.
awesome. Hey,
Thank you so
Ali
much,
or
everybody.
Rochelle, can you guys talk a little bit about the trade mission in December, what's expected and what to look for if anyone's interested?
Sure. So typically what we do is it's about a 4-day trade mission. We take you through a little bit of business, but a lot of fun. So we will take you on the property tours at the various sites that we have personally. We will take you over to some of our competitor sites just because, we don't fit everybody's mold. We don't fit everybody's expectation or goals, and we know that, but we want you as the professional to be as well versed and educated as you can be to be able to take your experience back to your clients. So we do those property tours, we do presentations about not only Belize, but we'll give you a little bit of insight about the surrounding countries in the region. So, you're a little bit familiar with those as well. We will introduce you to various professionals here on the ground. We'll introduce you to the bank team, that key international bank that we talked about earlier. We'll introduce you to other real estate agents on the island, so you're able to make those connections with them in case your clients do need something that we don't necessarily have to offer them. But then we'll also take you around the island. We'll take you out to those famous snorkeling spots. We'll feed you to the sharks. I mean, we'll let you swim with the sharks and get to see that marine life there. You'll get to see different parts of the island. You'll get to experience some of the local culture, flavors and cuisines. You'll just get really familiar and comfortable with what experience it is you're taking back to your clients. And that's the goal, is to just let you get firsthand knowledge and experience over those 4 days. But yeah, it's 4 days. And for more information on what that agenda looks like specifically, I'll be happy to send that to you. Just reach out.
Awesome. Brendan, do you have any trade missions scheduled for this year or next year?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So yes, we do actually. We're in the middle of coordinating one with our partner company, ARIA, the Asian Real Estate Association, for September and potentially a follow along in October. Those dates are still being firmed up, but right now it looks like it'll be from the September 16th for 4 or 5 nights. So I'll make sure, Sarah, I'll get you all that information as soon as we finalize those dates. And then, yeah, we'd love to have anyone interested in joining come visit.
Awesome. That's really nice. Now I guess I'm going to turn it back to Anne. The drawing, or is it Janessa?
Well, I don't know all the specifics about the drawing. I do have the certificate, but I do have our wheel already. So if maybe one of the people who donate it want to talk about it, just what they get for this.
Rachel, I'll let you jump in on that one. It was I see her. She said, thank you, I'll come visit. So hopefully somebody who wins this certificate will get to come visit us.
Sure. So you have the option to win 4 free nights here in Belize or Nicaragua, whatever you choose. And just let us know what dates you plan on coming down, and we'll be there. So we'll see who that winner is. And again, you can choose between Nicaragua or Belize.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen here. Here we are. Let me put this full screen. And here we go. Claudia here?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's fun. I never win anything. Thank you. Thank you. Super excited.
Woo!
Great.
Claudia, can you go ahead and put your contact information in the chat for me, please?
Okie dokie. Wow, I can't believe this. Okay, so what is it that you need from me? My name and my email address?
Name and email is perfect.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations,
Really
Claudia. I hope you get to take all of what
Excellent.
Well, as you guys can see, Brandon, Ali, Rachel, thank you so much. It has been so informative, and I am pretty certain a lot of us will take opportunity of the trade mission and even all the opportunity that you have provided for us today. And once again, thank you guys so much for taking your time and sharing the information, amazing information with us with TIGAR Global Committee. So we're very grateful for all the 3 of you. And with that said, do we have any other notice or information that we want to share with the group from anybody from the committee?
No.
Okay, cool. So with that said, guys, thank you
I just
so
want
much.
to say, Sarah, I just want to commend the committee. You guys have done an amazing job, and thank you, Anne, for putting this presentation together. It was amazing, and all the presenters.
Yes, they're good.
Super great information. Thank you.
Yeah, good work,
They're
Sarah.
amazing.
Seriously.
Yes, I have to second that. So with that
Good
said,
job, Sarah.
thank you. No, you guys did an amazing job, especially our speakers. We're taking the time out, and especially Brandon. He took time out to be with us. He's on vacation, actually. So thank you, Brandon.
My pleasure. Great to meet everyone, and I look forward to following up. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you
Thank
guys.
you.